Hey everyone, today we're out in the shop here working on some wood. As you can see on the thermometer, it's pretty chilly out here, 39 it looks like. So I'm cutting wood today. I'm working on the ramp for the shed again. I just need to get that little project done, get it out of the way. I've already cut most of these. These are the, what you want to call them, the bottom, the main supports of the ramp. I'll show it to you how it all goes together in a little bit, but I'm cutting a pretty gnarly angle here, which is more than I originally wanted to, and didn't really plan it out too well, but this is what we're going with. So I'll just show you cutting the last one here, and then I'll show you how it all goes together. Alright, so you can see I got the a pre-cut one already. I'm just measuring all of them off of the one pre-cut, off the original one, so makes it nice and easy just to draw a line, don't have to measure it. This angle is 10 degrees using the using this guy here. I never knew you could do degrees and different things with one of these until I watched Wrangler Star Channel. If anybody watches that, I've subscribed and watched a lot of his videos. And he was just going over all the uses of just the simple square and all the different uses you can actually do with it, and I was really surprised. So I thought I'd try it out using the angle deal. It's working, seems to work good. Basically, you use your point. The point goes on wherever you're starting, and then over here is your degrees. So wherever it lines up, that's your degree. That's that. Alright, so next I'm taking the pre-measured, or whatever you want to call it, marked board, throw it on the table. Giving it a good clamp down so it doesn't move on me. Just using the trusty old Ryobi circular saw. I just follow the line. Might not be perfect, but it works. Watch your feet. Alright, here we are. This is the shed that I'm making the ramp for. This is the piece we just cut. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to get the transition down to here. The drop isn't that far because, I don't know, the ground comes up over here, I think. So it's not a major drop. It's only about, I think, 4 degrees or so. So the problem I had was because my cut was so, I guess, long, I got no support up here because it's so thin, so I'm going to probably do 2 blocks. I'll do a block, I'll do a block back here to support this, and then that'll give me plenty of strength there. Then I'll have a block up here. I plan on doing like 2x4s, I think 2x4s for the cross pieces here, for the top, for the, whatever you want to call it, the top surface. Maybe I can go a little thinner, if there's something else maybe, I don't know yet. That's the plan. I also didn't want to go too much of a point here because then you got nothing to screw or nail the last board to. So I still might actually, I don't know, might make the end just a little bit more angled. I'm not sure yet. I'm probably also going to dig these blocks down level because they're sitting on top of the ground right now. So that's what I'm dealing with right here. It's kind of a pain in the ass. I wanted a long one because I didn't want much of a slope, so it's easier to get the lawnmowers in and out. They don't hang up on the mower decks. But I don't know. Probably could have gone a lot shorter, and it probably would have worked just fine. But oh well, too late now. And one final cut we're gonna have to do. I forgot about this little guy. Since our boards are angling down, we got a little angle there, so that should be our 4 degrees there. So I'll cut a 4 degree on each end. Make sure I cut it the right direction. Measure once, cut twice, right? Alright, so we've finished listening to the dog bark. We finished cutting the angle here. It's actually 5 degrees, not 10 degrees like I cut those. Probably due to the slope of the ground, made me cut 10 on that. But 5 here to make that level with the shed. Or the shed's not level, whatever. It'll all match up in the end, alright? So, if you notice I got a square cut out. I'm going to cut notches out on each end. This is the end that butts up against the shed. I don't have a good way to mount this to the shed, so I'm actually going to cut 2x4 slots out. God, dog. And I'm going to basically screw a 2x4 onto this first, so screws will go in here. I can screw one down too, so it'll securely be fastened securely to the 2x4, and then as the whole assembly, I can screw that 2x4, if you were looking at it this way, into the shed. So that'll give me lots of strength, plus this will be actually sitting on top of the 2x4 slightly, plus with the screws, so it won't be completely hanging off, you know, a couple screws going in at an angle or something, because the way this is being built is this edge might hang off just a little bit off the bottom of the shed, so I don't have anything to secure it to very well. So I think this will be a good idea. Yeah, I think it'll work. Let me make some cuts here. I'm going to use the Sawzall for these ones, because I can't really get in the corners too well with the circular saw and all that stuff. So let's see how this works, see if I can make some nice cuts. Oh, and just a note here, I'm making this square with this edge, not this edge, because this is angled at a funky angle now, so I'm making sure this is going to be sitting with the shed. Alright, got the nice gnarly saw blade on there. Hopefully these cuts are short enough that, you know, it's really hard to get a perfectly straight cut with one of these, but cuts are short enough that I think it'll work out alright. If I can do it without blocking the camera view here. Get a nice close-up view of that. Yeah, try not to hit the bench and all the other gobbledygook around here. Oh yeah, it's going crooked already. Whose idea was this? New battery. Wasn't fully charged, don't worry. Hopefully I have a fully charged one in here somewhere. This one's in the drill. Hopefully I got enough to cut some wood here today. Jeez. Well, first one wasn't the best. See, I kind of went off camber there. It's alright, the others will come out better. I'll have to be careful. Alright, that last cut was kind of a disaster. Ended up cleaning it up a little bit with the circular saw. So, we're going to try starting with the circular saw this time. Clamp down here. Running out of workspace here. That'll be much better. And we can finish the cut with this guy here to break it off. See how far I'm going here though. Watch me ruin it again. Jeez. Tight. There it is. Alright. So the handsaw I could have worked that a little better with, but that'll work good. People used to pay a lot of money for wormwood. Yeah, I'm using wormwood on my ramp here. It's gonna be pretty high-end, fancy. Should be worth quite a bit of money. No, well, I am using it, but this is just a piece I pulled out of my scrap pile. I actually cut off the last 10 inches or so. I was just looking at all the wormholes. Hopefully there's nothing live in there still, but yeah, it's pretty solid still. It'll work fine. Alright, is this starting to make sense to anybody yet? Whew, I'm tired. It's upside down, obviously. This is the 2x4. It is sitting in notches. So, sorry, I'm out of breath. I was moving all that around. But, so I haven't measured it out perfectly yet. I think it's like 22-inch centers I'm doing. So I'm going to screw 2x4 to each of these boards. That way, then might put a little pieces in between there to keep it all together. It's not going to have any added support to it or anything. But yeah, so after I screw it there, and then I take it out to the shed and I screw to the shed from this way. And then everything will be completely tied together. And you'll see when it's as we go, if you're still confused. Alright, back at it. Day 2. I think it's even colder out here today. Just fired up the heater again. Whew. I just took a trip to Ace Hardware because as far as I could get last night, I didn't have any screws to screw the ramp together. So I went to the hardware store, and of course I can't just go and buy screws. I gotta buy a bunch of other stuff. So let me show you what I got. Alright, so in my bag of goodies here, I'm a sucker for tools. The more I do. First thing I got is the old, some people call them cat's paw, nail claw, claw bar, whatever. Got one of them. I didn't have a good way to really dig in and get some big nails out of the fence boards, and I had to pull them back out, so it's not necessarily for the current project, but needed something good. All I had was the flat bar for pulling out nails, which works good once you get the nail head above, but this here you can beat in a little bit and it won't chew up the wood as much, just around the nail, versus the big flat piece that takes out a 2-inch chunk around the nail. So that should be very helpful. Next, just bought a nice solid 12-inch combination square. Metal head, didn't get the plastic one. I just figured it'd be nice to have something that I could have a nice 90 on that I can slide, make adjustments, so when I'm just playing with it here. So that when I'm like making the cutouts on that, the notches and stuff, I could have just had this thing set up for, what was it, my 2.5-inch mark, or 3.5, I guess. I think I just stuck that on there, had each one done. Would have been easier. Next, picked up a new square. This one's even got a little book about different stuff, so that's cool. There you go. There's the uses of a square. That's still, as simple as this tool is, I find it kind of amazing all the things you can do with it. read. So, it's cool. It actually comes with a little belt holder too, which isn't really necessary unless you're doing a lot of stuff. But at that point, I'll probably end up getting a tool belt. That, I guess a good tool belt will have a slot specifically for a square to slide in, slide out. Woo! Accessorize. Alright, and then the whole reason I went, of course, is to buy screws. I didn't quite have anything long enough. I wanted a good 3-inch since I'm going through 1.5 inch of 2x4 board. So I only had I think 2.5 was my longest one. So I picked up these. I picked up 2 different ones. So one is the standard galvanized decking screw, 3-inch. It's got the regular Phillips head on it. These I actually saw were kind of interesting. They actually have a, if you can see the bit there, even comes with a little bit. It comes with the Torx bit head on them. One thing I always hate about screws, especially when you get these long ones, is the Phillips head jumping out when it gets really tough. So I thought I'd buy these and just give them a shot. You can see in that upper corner, it's got the Torx bit. I gotta find out what size that is. Looks like about a, I don't know, 35, 40. Doesn't say what it is. So I just want to try them out. If they work really good, then I'll probably start using these more, because it's just probably a lot easier than these. So we'll give it a shot. And here's where I left it last night. I kind of got the boards all measured out where they're going to go. I got enough room on the ends right there that I can get a screw on the outside to go into the shed. So it'll be on both sides of the supports. Got them marked out. I'm probably going to drill some pilot holes before I run these screws through. It's kind of cold. Might have to warm up a little bit before I do. Alright. Alright, just drilled the pilot holes. I'm going to try out this new fandangled screw. Got a short bit to get in here. Oh, you know what I could do? I might put this in my little electric impact. Not bad. Not bad. The pilot's not too big. It's probably a hair smaller than the shank. Wood's soft too. Alright, can do that. Alright, we got everything secured on the ends here. If you can see in the low light conditions. Probably not. 2 screws on each end. I'm going to try and flip it over and put a screw down the top. See what happens. Built it into the shot. I like those screws. They work really good, actually. Let's flip it over. Alright, now that I got it flipped over, I'm going to put 1 screw down the top of each one. Gotta make sure I don't run into the other screws that are in there. So, Load the pilot down first. Sound like I touched the other screw. Let's wedge this guy right on in there. Ah, jeez. These little bits don't stay in my little impact. That's nice. I like the impact for driving those in too. Don't slip at all. Found the screw. Go through the screw apparently. Alright, move the hole. That sucked. I could have ran it down there. Yeah, I like that spot better anyways. Just like that. Alright, finally got the ramp outside. Had to put a lot of work into this. A lot more than I originally thought it was going to be. Thought it was just going to be a quick, simple structure, but whew. I'm out of breath because I just carried that thing across again, of course. So, today, I had to stop yesterday. I couldn't mount it to the shed yet because I wanted to cover all the fresh cut. I don't know if you can tell from there. I painted all the fresh cut wood sides with just some stain I had laying around in the shed. So it's green. I think it's the same green that's on the trim of the shed over there. But just to protect it a little bit. Hopefully it'll last a couple years longer then. So that's it. Today we're going to mount it to the shed. I don't have my, what you want to call it, top surface boards yet. 2x4s or whatever I'm going to use. This might have to come later, maybe another year or so I'll get those done. But yeah, I'm going to mount it to the shed. I'm going to set these blocks up where they need to be and then be done with that for now. Alright, that's as far as we're getting on this project for a while. So it's all screwed to the deck. I got the pavers all set, evenly spaced. I'm out of my breath. Some of these, so let me get you an angle here, sitting up kind of higher, probably because of the angle. As I was screwing it in, they kind of lifted up a little bit, but that'll all settle as it sits, and they're probably not all exactly perfect, especially that end one seems to be sticking way up, but it's not under a lot of tension, so. You can see where each of the, if you can tell there's grass and stuff stuck to it. Around each of the 2x6s there, and the 2x4 there's a 4 screws on each one. Almost looks like that 2x4 is bent. I hope that's not gonna cause an issue later. Maybe. I don't know. It looks even though. 2x4 looks bent, but the boards look straight, so I don't know. Whatever. We'll figure it out. It's not made to be perfect, alright? I'm not a professional. I don't know what I'm doing. It looks great. So, like I said, later I'm going to put 2x4s across the whole top. Probably do pressure treated. So it'll probably cost a few bucks to do just that alone. Probably put some gravel around the stepping, the paver deals. And that'll pretty much be it. But it'll be so much easier to get the lawnmowers in and out. Having a nice big wide ramp before I throw the 2 metal ramps on and drive it up and down and move the ramps. And it's just, I mean, it's not a pain in the ass completely, but this will be so much easier to not just open the doors and drive it out. Plus I made it wide enough you could come in at an angle, you know, if you need to. Kind of like that lawnmower already is. So it'll just be easier all around. Now I just need to go buy some more lumber.